Hey folks, MasakoX here. So, after a long period of nothing from this story, we've managed to find some kind of balance and understanding for this particular narrative. Gohan, the character who was meant to be the driving force of Dragon Ball Z originally, has had a bit of a change. Not as drastic as you might think, mind. We're just taking one thing that was the crux of his initial premise and enhancing it beyond belief. This is a love letter to those who pondered as to why Gohan never went Super Saiyan at times when Piccolo passed away or was gravely injured. The real reason behind this was that Toriyama hadn't come up with Super Saiyan yet at that point in the story, since he liked to write from the hip all the time. But I feel like we can explore a dragon world where that plot device could be retroactively installed in Gohan's character and still remain true. Today's video is sponsored by Tokyo Treat and Sakura Co. With Sakura Co, you will receive 20 traditional and artisan Japanese delights, including Japanese teas and one wonderfully crafted example of tableware with your box every month. Sakura Co helps local Japanese snack makers continue to share their traditions that have been passed down for over a century. And by you purchasing this box, you're helping that continue for future generations. And this month's Taste of Hokkaido theme, which consists of the best treats Hokkaido has going, has me smitten as it has chocolate dorayaki in there. Amazing. As for Tokyo Treat, you'll get to try up to 20 of the latest, most exclusive and seasonal flavored Japanese snacks, such as caramel popcorn soda. This month's theme, Snack in Shibuya, condenses the hustle and bustle of Shibuya into one container, which hosts pudding flavored Kit Kats. Iris will be happy about that. And my favorite from this month, Quattro Cheese Snacks. They're ridiculously Moorish, seriously. Both boxes also come with an information snack guide, which gives you extra details like ingredients, allergen information, and fascinating context behind each snack. The Shibuya box reminds me of the time my friend Hasagi took me to a secret sushi bar there, round back of the district, and the memories all flooded back when I saw this box. You can go to my second channel up on the lookout to see more from these boxes, or you can get $5 off your first Sakura Co or Tokyo Treat box by using the code MasakoX at checkout. All the links in the description before May 31st. I hope you give this a look, and thanks once again to Tokyo Treat and Sakura Co for sponsoring this video. Cheers! In the last part, Frieza had been hoodwinked and denied his desire to gain immortality on the Dragon Balls. Goku wanted to push Gohan to step forward and confront the Emperor head on. But in his excitement, Goku forgot that Gohan was, a little boy. Despite this massive power that he had, that's a little cruel, Goku. That is until Gohan decided to shut his father up and stepped forward once he realized that, mathematically speaking, Gohan could win this. Thanks to his training, this situation wasn't going to be nearly as difficult as he had feared. He powered up to Super Saiyan because of that, and powered his way through the different forms of Frieza. What was even better for him was that he got to deck Frieza in the schnoz alongside Mr. Piccolo. Or was it Mr. Piccolo? With Nail more conscious and not in the midst of succumbing to injury, the tussle as to who had dominant control over the body resulted in their fusion being weird and up in the air. Sure, Piccolo helped Gohan take down third form Frieza, but the overall aura and vibe from the Pickle was nowhere near as familiar as before, when they had trained together before the Saiyans had arrived originally. Now the crew were done with the tyrant, and now making their way somewhere else on the planet. For what reason? Will it remain to be seen. The mood was rather strange. As they were flying toward destination unknown, Gohan was feeling very uneasy. What had happened to Mr. Piccolo? He was a lot less cantankerous and not nearly as himself as he had gotten used to, away from the heat of battle. Piccolo's energy felt a little different too. In fact, it reminded him of that attendant of Guru's somewhat in a way. Wait. Gohan was processing this, and he then flew closer to Piccolo, asking him point blank as to his growing conclusion.
Mr. Piccolo? What happened to you? You don't seem yourself.
Piccolo looked to him as they flew, a look of blank recognition, like there was just a bare flicker of recollection from the past. It's complicated. Gohan, was it?
But you know my name is Gohan, Mr. Piccolo. This is getting weird. I know your energy feels different too.
Piccolo remained silent.
It'll all become clear when we get to Guru's.
Guru. So that's where we're going.
Gohan mumbled that. He took it. At least their next port of call wasn't a mystery anymore. Sure enough, the group arrived at Guru's tower and entered. They entered the threshold to see Guru, looking even more haggard than before. It was clear that he wasn't going to be around for much longer. He had exerted himself a lot. In fact, not long after they had arrived, a group of Namekians arrived to pay their respects, and maybe even last rites. They, however, remained outside for the time being, as per their instructions from the Elder when they got the telepathic recall to be here. The dragon team entered, and Guru welcomed them.
Well done, my friends. You succeeded in purging a terrifying evil from this plane of existence. I thank you for your help. I wish to say this in person before I sadly depart. Granting you all potential has taken out a lot out of me. It is worth it, though. Anything to ensure Namek's continued survival.
Piccolo walked over to Guru's side and bowed.
Are you alright, Lord Guru? Do you need anything?
Gohan was confused. Since when did Piccolo bow to anyone? Then he remembered their conversation.
Elder, I must ask. Piccolo's energy is different from what I remember. What happened? Why has it changed?
Guru sighed.
My child, prior to the one you call Piccolo's arrival to aid you against Frieza, I called him here to discuss something. A grave and previously taboo request. It was not ideal, but it might have been the best chance we Namekians had to survive once you had left for your own home.
Vegeta was getting tired of the cryptic mumbo-jumbo and demanded to know exactly what had caused Piccolo to suddenly leapfrog everybody in terms of strength into the silver medal position, I must say. Then fusion was exposited to the group, and this is something that astounds the likes of Goku.
So, it's like two people are fighting one body? Wow! I wonder what that feels like.
It's not as simple as that, Goku. When two Namekians fuse, two things can occur. One way is that one of the original beings assumes control over the whole body and overall personality, becoming just one. And the second, when neither party is willing to back down, an entirely new persona is created. Neither Piccolo or Nail. But their memories entwine with one another regardless. So really, we no longer have a name, other than a moniker. The Namekian Savior of Legend.
The group were processing this. This was a lot to unpack. Gohan, though, knew what that meant. In a brash act of desperation, Piccolo's mind had been melded with another, and what came out of it was a wholly new being. One that had little or a reduced level of care or comradeship toward him. A personality bypass, you could say, and yet not. It was a lot for a child to take in.
Does that mean Mr. Piccolo's gone?
The Namekian once known as Piccolo sighed.
Yes and no.
Gohan sniffed. This was so sad. He had just wished Piccolo back to life, and now he had as good as been taken away again, with no hope of bringing him back. The Namekian walked over to Gohan and knelt down, tending to Gohan's silent weeping.
I understand this is a lot to take in, Gohan. From what I gather, you and Piccolo were rather close, right?
Gohan nodded meekly.
Well, if it means anything, he was very proud of you. He felt that he had nothing left to teach you, that you could take care of yourself. That's why he didn't come to help you sooner. In his eyes, his part in this was done.
Goku then stepped in.
Done? How?
The Namekian ruffled Gohan's hair before standing up to look down at the Saiyan, his former rival.
You see, the Namekian known as Nail called Piccolo here when he arrived to talk things through and provide him information and knowledge about his heritage. He complied with our request and came here, choosing us over you, thinking that he wasn't needed since Gohan was in complete control. He felt unnecessary.
The Namekian went on to elaborate that Piccolo agreed to fuse with Nail, but neither of them could truly back down as to who would be the dominant personality. Both wills were too great, and it resulted in this very, very rare anomaly. A Namekian, the neutral persona. One with memories of the two, but not having the mind and soul. Goku then gasped.
Wait, what does this mean for Kami? Is he dead again?
The Namekian looked to him.
Relax. Your friend Kami is still alive. In fact, this might mean that the bond he and Piccolo once had might no longer be in effect. It's hard to say, but since Piccolo is neither alive or dead anymore, it might cancel previous things out. Or not. It's not something that has been seen before. Ideally, I wouldn't want to test it.
The Namekian smirked a little, proving it had a modicum of humor in there. Nevertheless, this meant that Piccolo was gone, but not gone. The Namekian beckoned the other slug people inside, and they tended to Guru, who was getting weaker by the minute. Guru was pleased to see them all here, and subsequently dubbed Mori as the next elder and caretaker of the Namekian Dragon Balls. The Namekian shook hands with Mori and vowed to protect Namek as best he could.
Wait, you're not even gonna come back with us?
The Namekian turned back and looked mildly annoyed at that.
Wasn't that obvious? I'm here to protect this planet. Piccolo made the choice to help us, having learnt more about his past and people. You can't change it.
Oh yeah? Well then we'll use our Dragon Balls to reverse it!
Your dragon is not nearly as powerful as Purunga. That request is beyond its power. Please do not intervene.
Gohan didn't want to hear this anymore, but Goku put a hand on his son's shoulder.
Gohan, think about it. When we're gone, who will be left to protect Namek? It's been through a lot. It's hard, but we need to accept this.
Vegeta nodded.
Indeed. I'm sure that if my suspicions are accurate, then Frieza's father might come investigating his son's silence one day.
The group then turned around. Since when did Frieza have a dad, and why didn't Vegeta tell them this before?
You never asked! Plus we were dealing with more important matters prior to now! Well, all the more reason for me to remain here. I'm sorry, Gohan, but know this. Piccolo believes in you, that you can grasp your potential and excel. We Namekians are very grateful for what you've done this day. You can always count on us to aid you in Earth.
Gohan didn't want to hear any more of this, though. He ran outside, leaving the Namekian looking a mixture of confused and a little hurt. Goku turned to the Namekian and offered his hand.
Piccolo, Nail, or whoever you are, I'm sad that this is where we might part ways. I kinda wanted to fight you one more time, but boy, that fight we did have, that was fun. I wish you luck.
The Namekian took the hand and they locked eyes and nodded. That rivalry did spark between them mildly for a second. That residual competition was still there, but the matter was clear. Piccolo was not coming back with the group. Piccolo didn't really even exist anymore, in the conventional sense. The Dragon Team requested that once the Dragon Balls were active on Namek once more, for them to bring back Ten Shinhan and Yamcha for them, and the Namekians agreed, stating that it can be done in 4 Earth months' time, 1 Namekian year. Before they left, Gohan couldn't remain stubborn anymore, not saying goodbye. He ran over to the Namekian he knew as Piccolo. The Namekian, despite not being Piccolo anymore, rested his hand on the boy's head.
It'll be okay, Gohan. You will grow into a big, strong defender of Earth. You'll be fine. Don't worry about us.
Gohan sniffed and vowed to do his best before the team set for Earth. Their mission complete. But wait, what about King Cold? Does he come for Namek, Masako? Well, in this timeline, yes. 5 months later, King Cold paid Namek a visit. He hadn't heard from Frieza in a while and had previously ignored rumours that Frieza had apparently been slain. Since retiring, Cold had been very hands-off with Frieza, leaving him to run the Empire on his own, and instead, Cold chose to pursue his own passions and hobbies away from the daily grind of running an empire. I mean, he could do that. However, even after that long a time without a single correspondence or news of any kind, it was too much to not pay mind to. News was starting to spread too, that Frieza had not been seen in public in months. His deputies constantly denying any speculation that their leader was dead, but the rumours just kept piling up as time passed. One day, Cold couldn't hack it anymore. He chose to scratch that itch himself and check Namek out, the last place that Frieza had reported. He arrived there, but never left. Thanks to Piccolo's martial art mindset, he had been training non-stop in his new role as the Namekian savior. Now understanding his fused body more, he was able to make swift work of King Cold, acting oblivious prior to Frieza's death and surprising the king with a swift gut punch and a blasting of his body before he had any chance to mount a defense. In his arrogance too, Cold hadn't even come down with any guards. They then got blasted by a subsequent special beam cannon aboard their own ship in the atmosphere from Namek's surface. Cold was no more, and neither was his ship. When that went down, the Namekian made sure to contact the Earthlings.
Yeah, that cold Goku, he's now stone cold dead.
Speaking of the Earthlings, in the time that followed, it was a calm period in their history. Gohan kept training, sticking to the Namekian's promise, Piccolo's last instruction effectively, and Goku was slowly getting a handle as to how to gain Super Saiyan for himself. As for Vegeta, well, he had to slum it out in space. Without Bulma's interest nor inclination to house him, a sneak, or even make a gravity chamber for him, he was effectively told to get lost. Vegeta didn't need them anyway. He had a goal to become Super Saiyan like the brat, and he would do it on his own. And one day, he would make them regret their rejection of he, the Prince of all Saiyans! But for a while, the Earthlings heard nothing from the prince, assuming he was just sulking somewhere. But then one day, someone paid a visit to Goku's house. It wasn't Trunks, nor was it Vegeta. A tall man with black hair, a scar, and a black and orange jacket was standing in the doorway. Gohan answered the door, and the pair looked at each other. Despite having never met before in their entire lives, Gohan felt a bizarre sense of calm about this one.
Hello? Can I help you?
The man nodded.
Yes, indeed you can. Is your father home by any chance?
Gohan shook his head.
No, he's out fishing.
The man smiled. Sounds about right.
What?
Nothing, snapped the man, realizing his place. Chi-Chi then came to the door and equally felt at ease with the stranger.
Hello there. Are you looking for Goku?
Yes, ma'am. I wish to talk to him about something. Something I need help with. If it's all right, might I wait here, please, until he comes back from fishing?
Chi-Chi nodded and let him in. And he went to sit on the couch, like he knew exactly where it was. Like this was his home. Weird. But that's where we're going to be leaving things for right now. If you like this idea about Gohan's potential being explored, check out this parallel story here, where his hidden power was much more like Broly's. And I shall see you in the next video. Catch you later!